We got Cloud9 coming up. Easily one of the best teams in the LCS, arguably the best team in the LCS. And I think it's time for TSM to show them what they got. So let's talk some TSM. That is right, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Talking TSM. This time we're talking about, sadly, our last game against Cloud9 in the LCS regular season, which is a pretty crazy thing to think about considering the historic rivalry between both of these teams. I'm really excited to talk about this game because I think this will actually be one of the closest matchups that we've had with them in a long time, where it's not just like, oh, TSM win by a fluke of Cloud9 or, well, really just a fluke generally is how we would win against Cloud9 most recently. I just feel like we're playing really well and cohesively as a team. I would argue that we are playing potentially as the most cohesive team in the LCS. That our talent is it may not be as good, but we are the better sum of our parts, right? I think that's the phrasing I'm looking for. It's probably not, but that's all right. Well, we are going to continue on here, and listen, Cloud9 have shown that they have holes in their armor. That there are definitely ways to beat them, right? And I think a lot of it stems from their inability at times to push leads far enough or to really keep teams from coming back, essentially, because I think Cloud9 still have one of the better early games in the league. They have a lot of really strong laners, and Blabber is generally able to get around the map pretty well, but it's when they start to get a lead or there's like a failed gank in the bot lane. We saw a little bit of that last week with Blabber, that keeps them from kind of putting their foot on the throat of the enemy. Like, they try to, but then they don't necessarily succeed. They're an aggressive team, and generally it works out, but then sometimes it really doesn't, and it backfires pretty significantly for them. So, I am going to be focused on Blabber, to be honest with you, when I'm looking at how they play and how I expect for Cloud9 to make their focus. Like, obviously Berserker and Eminez are their big carries. Fudge has been almost an afterthought, it feels like, for this team, where it's just, hey, Fudge, do what you can, and we'll see you near the end of the game, and hopefully you'll make a really big play. I know that's kind of the state of top lane right now, and has been seemingly for a while, but I believe that Blabber is the one that allows for all that to happen. I don't really see Eminez or Berserker, I think, making these plays a lot of the time without Blabber being the one to instigate them or to, put them in the position to succeed. Not that they can't, but I think he does such a great job, and it's honestly why he's going to probably be one of my top votes for MVP. I think he's having a really outstanding season so far, and I think it's going to be up to us to try to mitigate that, track him as much as we can in the early game, and always anticipate that he's going to miss at least one smite, because there's one thing that Blabber is known for. It is missing one big smite in one big fight. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough to where you can hope that it might be you that gets that chance. Because of that, I'm actually going to be looking at Chime, and I guess maybe it wasn't a great segue, but like I believe that Chime is really the guy who, when we need a big play to be made, when we need somebody to find a gap, a hole in the armor of a great team, Chime has done that consistently. I will be foaming at the mouth, fuming, if he does not have a job next split. Like, this guy is truly one of the most underrated players, I think, in the LCS. And, I just see him taking a big playmaking type champion in this game. Like, I don't want to see him on a Lulu. I don't really want to see him even like on something, fun like a Bard. Like, I want to see him on something that's going to make plays. I want to see a Rakan. I want to see a Nautilus. I want to see I don't know, a Blitzcrank. I know he's pulled that out. I know it didn't work as well, but I think he can make big plays with that champion. And I believe that if we're going to win this game against Cloud9, it's going to fall on him to make, I think, a very big team fight changing play around an objective that is going to, I think, either get TSM back in the game or blow open what was already a close game. Um, with all that being said, and this is not because I don't believe in Chime, I don't believe that we're going to win this game. I think this one is going to be a loss, sadly, in our last game against Cloud9, and I just think it's because they're that good right now. I would love to see us in a best of 5 series against them, and I hope that we get that opportunity in the playoffs because I feel like that could be a series that might surprise people with it going to like 5 games, actually. That wouldn't completely surprise me. I feel like it'd either be like 3-0 or a 3-2 with it being a coin flip. Because again, Cloud9 are susceptible to counter gigs. They are susceptible to, I think, making big mistakes due to their own hubris. And so I'm really of the opinion that this game is going to be really close. I think a lot closer than most people think it is, as long as TSM don't troll and, pick whatever the hell they were doing against 100 Thieves. They play their own style. They don't mess around with the way that their comps are played. And I understand they want to establish more champions as they head into the playoffs, but you got to lock in that top 6. If they can win this game, then they can maybe mess around with the Evil Geniuses game, depending on where things go. But I don't predict them to win this game. Thus, I don't really see them messing around, and I think they keep it close, but ultimately lose. So, I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments section below, and with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.